Chatterton devised his own plan. He and Glenn Plockoy, an engineer and frequent seeker diver, would build a metal grate to block the opening Chatterton had burned into third class. The seeker would go to the Doria 2 days before Belinda's trip. They would fill their bags with china, then Chatterton and Plockoy would install the grate. When the WAHOO divers arrived, they would find the hole closed. (1989) on the deck of the Seeker, over the Andrea Doria. Like many North Atlantic wreck divers of the period, we are wearing these heavy necklaces around our necks. No, that's not it. The chain around our necks are part of this grate that Glenn Plockoy and I designed and built, and we're going to throw it off the bow. It's going to slide down the anchor line to the wreck, exactly where we want it, and then we're going to install it. At least that was the plan. And this is Captain Bill Nagel. He was the owner of the Seeker and a very good friend of mine. This is me heading down to the wreck. Glenn is shooting video. I turn around, give him the okay sign. We've got beautiful conditions here for the Andrea Doria. Our plan is this. We're going to cut the Seeker loose. Glenn and I are going to install the grate, and then we're going to ascend on that 1/4-inch sisal line right there off to the left. There is no plan B. If Glenn and I, for any reason, can't get the job done, instead of us pulling a prank on the divers of the WAHOO, the joke will kind of be on us then, won't it? Now, the grate covers a hole that we cut into the wreck the year before, 1988. And this is the grate kind of in position. It's just got to get vertical. The opening is in a vertical wall. You can see the hole behind the grate in the lower portion of the grate. It's a pretty good size opening. But now I'm going to tie the grate in position before I get the chain and work on doing the hard installation here. The way that the grate was designed to work is that a chain is going to hold the top of the grate back against the wreck, vertical, and down. In other words, you can't actually pick the grate up, and you can't pull the top of the grate down. The bottom of the grate is secured with 3 Y-shaped feet. One part of the Y is on our side of the bulkhead there, and the other part of the Y is actually inside the wreck. So it's kind of an ingenious design, and of course, what we wanted to do was make it relatively easy to install and easy to open back up again. So we built these chains. We took the end links of the chain and we put a cylinder on each end. We welded the cylinder to the end link of the chain. One of the cylinders is a sleeve where we can slide a bolt into. The other cylinder is threaded, so that's what the bolt actually screws into. Now, we wanted to use a proprietary tool so that somebody else wouldn't have the proper tool to make an opening. And we decided on this little spanner wrench. It's a little T-wrench we made. It's got a couple of pins in it. We drilled a couple of corresponding holes into the head of the bolt. And you can see once I get it going, it goes relatively quickly. Actually, we had to speed the video up for that. But we've got the first chain in place. And to tell you the truth, the first chain would have done the job. But we're throwing another chain in there just because if one is good, 2 is better, right? And of course, we've got spare wrenches, we've got spare bolts, we've got spare chains, because we're doing this in 190 feet of water. 190 feet of water, you suffer from the effects of, oops, there goes the wrench. And there's the legs on the bottom. You can see the little Y-shaped legs. But the effects of narcosis mean that you're going to suffer from a loss in manual dexterity. And The loss in manual dexterity means that tasks that would be relatively simple and quick are somewhat more complex and take more time. Now we've got the thing all bolted up, it's secured, it's in place, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't make this easy for the divers on the WAHOO to figure out, so we squirted a little grease in there, gray lithium grease. And of course, no prank would be totally complete without a sign taking credit for our handiwork here. Closed for inventory. Please use alternate entrance. Thank you, crew and patrons of Seeker. And now I'm a little heavy as I'm heading up to do the decompression because I've got all that extra chain and stuff that we're going to dump off in the sand while we're doing decompression. You know, the Andrea Doria, there were so many challenging, so many extremely serious dives made on this wreck. The fatalities on the Andrea Doria are in like the double digits. And still, somehow, some way, we managed to find a way to have a little fun. What? We're making movies here.